we go. All right, let's kick off episode 3, eh?
Yeah, to the point where we've actually kind of like gone. We need ideas. We need to start thinking up ideas.
We've gone past the phase of like, okay, well, everyone's heard our stories now, so let's actually make conversation about something that's not ourselves.
Yeah, it's our first time doing topics. This is actually this will be the next stage of our development in this podcast. We're actually gonna start doing topics.
Yeah.
But yes, I know that someone's come on possibly at some point. By the way,
Someone
Jennifer seems super keen for it.
Oh, okay.
So that would be quite cool.
That
would be cool. I think she's down for it. So
right,
she was just kind of like, she was low key in the stream yesterday, just being like, "Oh, hey, podcast. Being on a podcast sounds quite cool, doesn't it?" I'm like, yeah. I see what you're doing right now.
I see. I know. Like podcasting is such a cool way. I've always said this to you. Is like, to me, it's such a cool way to sit down with friends, talk about things, especially when we're in the industry that we're in. A lot of people like to listen. A lot of us have communities and fans, and obviously you have like fans that are connected to a lot of other people as well that we know. And for them to physically see other creators on the same like channel or something together, it's pretty cool. I mean, for us as creators, we don't really, we explained this in the last couple of episodes where we don't really venture out much. So for us to be able to sit in a setting and talk about things with other creators, it's fun. It is fun.
I wonder if it's probably because it's hard with us and what we do. You know, I feel like you remember like before you made videos and stuff, like you wanted to make videos, you used to watch people all the time. Like I used to watch Sidemen and watch like KSI and stuff. And it was always fun when they did like collaborations with other people. But I feel like they can because they've got like, they have like the environment to do it. Rust just doesn't kind of do that, which is like I think every Rust content creator doesn't want to say it, but I'll just say it anyways, is that we're all pretty much just wanting to get the best content for ourselves. Yeah. You know, we want to make the best videos. You want to get the best content. If someone gets, like, if we're recording together and someone gets really good content, we're kind of like, we want that. You know? Yeah. We want that moment.
But you don't want people to steal your content either. You want the moment. You want that thrill of having something like I said before, you want to be able to create something that that'll do really well. Yeah. Not steal other people's content. We've seen that before where creators steal other people's content and stuff, but it's definitely something that a creator always wants to do is find that individual thing that they create that does really well. You know? Yeah,
like that's the thing. Like everyone, like in the Rust game at the moment, everyone's kind of doing the same-ish kind of thing, the same thing like everyone used to do back in the day. And I feel like creators feel that. And it's almost to the point where now that like money's involved, like imagine this like back in the day, back when YouTube wasn't like full-time jobs and shit.
Back when KSI was making like skits of like his mum and those were the days.
KSI was in his prime. I loved those days because no one in the comment section was ever about the money. No one ever cared. You know, he got his Elgato sponsorships. Everyone was kind of like, oh, that's really cool. You know, I'd like to use Elgato. But nowadays, because everyone knows YouTube is like around money and stuff, it's treated so much more like predatorially. Like everyone's at you if you do something wrong. Like,
you're selling out.
I had people yesterday commenting on my video being like, it's been 2 weeks and you only released a 10-minute video. I was like, right, it's 13 minutes for a start, so shut the fuck up. And also, like, the level of content you have to put out nowadays is beyond. Yeah. You know? It's so much more than what it's got to be.
Especially with trap bases. I mean, you're the one person who's been pumping out trap bases since fucking forever. Like,
if I was in a hospital and I was on a drip, it would just be a trap base thing going into me. Like, that's my career right now.
You even made I think you let's go over your recent video. The one you literally released today. You actually went into a trap base that you actually created. I don't think we haven't spoken about this, but I watched your video back and you said, I actually created this fucking trap base where it was the double doors and the pressure pad and the rug over the top.
Oh, that one.
Yeah. And you like, I know exactly how to decipher this shit.
There's so many motherfuckers who are stopping me. That's the thing. Anyone who wants to know why my content is so long to put out nowadays is because all you fuckers are doing traps. I can't leave a door open because people like probably the best defense for your base right now is don't have a door. Just have a heartbeat sensor in there and no motherfuckers coming in. Because every time I try to kill people now they're like, oh, so you think you're some kind of Oblivion? I'm like, Yeah. Like, of course I do. But
Bro, you know
I've
what's
seen
funny?
my face so many times, man. Go on.
When I watched you do it, I knew you knew exactly how to like destroy it, which made me laugh so hard because from when we make videos and you see people make similar designs to us, it's like I know that you've seen this either from something I've done or someone who's done something similar, and you know exactly how to destroy it. You like remove the rug and then destroy the pressure pad without even having to go over it, and then like broke into his base. That's like one of the worst things for a trap baser to do is like find a victim that knows how to like single-handedly fuck everything up.
I always look for, if I ever think it's a trap base, I always look to see how they get people in. So you'll always notice that they'll start attacking you. They might hit you once, but then they'll jump in their base and they'll give you the hit me stare. You know? And that's when you're meant to deliver the shot, which then gets you in there. But I literally stand there and stare at him just like, we both know what we're doing here. Like, I know what you're trying to do right now.
The point of no return.
Yeah, point of no return. Like, I'm like, I know as soon as I go in here, mate, I know that you're suddenly rocking a 2x1 with an airlock with no doors on it for some reason, but here we are. And I'm just going to walk in here, am I? But you kind of like the grand reveal, getting rid of the rug, and I was just kind of like, oh. I'm like, come on, man. I've made this.
That's what made me laugh so hard. When you were like, mate, I know this trap because I made it. Like,
I made that on a stream. I did that on a stream once because I thought it'd be super easy to do. And it was. I turned it into a video as well, and it got demonetized because something happened at the beginning of that video that definitely was not monetization worthy.
Yeah, I think I actually remember that video. I think I actually remember that stream.
I think it's a solid 1 minute of some guy screaming at me. I am new to the game. Why are you killing me? I have rock. And I just felt toxic, for that guy.
People are so toxic.
I think I was 20 deaths deep into that stream as well. So I was kind of like, fuck it, dude. You're my one killer. I'm satisfying every single moment of this. I'm loving it.
That's the hardest thing, man. Like, especially as a streamer with like stream sniping and stuff. It is so tough. And when you're like, it's hard to stay motivated when you've died so many times. Like, you know, you could get to a point where, obviously, when you're not streaming and just chilling, you're like dying 20 times. Like, fuck this, I'll take a 30-minute break and come back and start again on another server or something. But like, there's been times where you have to stream for like 3 or 4 hours. You're like, fresh wipe, super excited to start a fresh wipe, hoping it'd go well. And literally 95% of the time, unless you're posty, it goes to shit. You know?
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it like never works out. Like, I don't remember, you don't often see creators go, that was the best fucking wipe I had on the stream ever. Like, it never happens.
Normally every streamer just like dies and say, oh, okay, I'm going to wrap up now, guys. You know, it was really good seeing you here today. Turn off the stream. Fuck!
Yeah, they literally made it. They made it up to a Nardo's peak, mate, with a fucking spear. And that's about as far as I got.
The amount of times I've done bow streams just because I can't find a gun.
That's where Nardo's mastered it. And Nardo doesn't even have to go past that point. Yeah, he doesn't even have to go past that point.
I want that man to tell me what his secret is, because holy fuck. How does he do that?
Yeah, I said to him, the funniest thing would be if he ever done a gun reveal, like his favorite weapon, or he ever picked up a gun, and then like he can make so many videos out of like just like doing like a cinematic shot of like him like a gun falling from a roof or something, and he's like, nah, not having it. It's like grab
Give
the
me that
gun,
spear.
Yeah,
grabs a stone hatchet, starts having a fucking tree. Give me that spear, bro. You know, it'd be great though if Anardo in all of his videos runs primitive for like the next year or so, and then suddenly in one episode he gets an AK and he's spent like a good 300 hours on like a test server making the fucking spray perfect, and he just domes every bastard.
Is an absolute god. I think everyone would not believe it. Like, imagine if you just got like a recording of like Posty to just do first person view without any webcam and just does it like a scene of like Posty going from a naked to an AK with a spear, and then just Nardo just steals it as like an AK reveal. And just uses Posty's like spray down.
It'd be insane. I think that's crazy. Anyone that can master that spray. I think it's crazy. Anyone that wants to put in the effort to master that spray. I mean, I always call it the doorway defender because it's only ever time I use it is when people are in my fucking doorway.
And by doorway, you mean with explosives coming to rage because you've like trapped them.
I basically start. The only time the AK gets pulled out is when my sheet metal door crumbles to that blown out position, and I spray through it.
Do you know what's funny? I see a lot of creators, like big creators, going, "Oh, we never get raided every wipe. We never get this. We never get that." Mate, build a fucking trap base. You get raided 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah, fuck.
Like, mate, Bro, if you want to get raided, make a trap base, you'll get raided so many. The amount of times I've had to rebuild trap bases because they get fucking online raided because these guys just hating on you. Like, it's shit. We have to like get to the point where you build 2 bases. The main, like, you have like a main base that stores all your shit that no one knows about, and you leave at fucking midnight where it's pitch black darkness and rust with like your fucking ghillie suit on and fucking night vision goggles, and you're heading back to fucking base with all your loot because you know come sunrise, mate, they're gonna be fucking guns blazing, laser sights in your windows. Like, it's shit. Like, you get fucking smashed.
That's the thing. I haven't seen the night vision goggles in game, really. I mean, I don't tend to play on night servers, but even when I play on servers that have nighttime on it, ain't no one looking at me like Splinter Cell. Can't see them motherfuckers anywhere. They're not glowing.
Yeah, there's a few things in Rust that's come out that like no one uses. You know, like I feel like cars. Cars is probably a prime example of that. I feel we've spoken a little bit about this off the podcast, but like we both agree on this. We think cars could be done so much better.
Yeah. So before we go into like this part about it, I feel like the background to this is we're not having a dig. We're basically so concerned for the game is that we want the devs to kind of, and people just to kind of know like why shit don't work, you know, to the point where I'm kind of thinking like there's so much that's happened recently and like over the course of like the last couple of years that the game's almost going to be at a struggle soon. You know, with what it's doing. I feel like content creators are the same way. You never hear of any Rust content creators openly say they love current Rust. Yeah. You know. But I feel like that's with every game anyways, but, you know.
But then again, it's like a love-hate relationship, man, with Rust. It's so, like, you'll get a good update where, like, you know, bugs are fixed or whatever, and the next update they'll bring in something unique, like the pools. People fucking, the pool. I thought the pool update was probably one of the best fun, shall we say, Rust being fun, but a fun update that came out. I actually really enjoyed the pool update. I never bought it, but I thought it was fun.
A lot of effort went into that. You know, like the bodyboards were good. The bodyboards were the new... I feel like the bodyboards are the new way to get to oil rig now. They've put everything in the bloody fishing shops. I'm almost thinking, like, actually that's the meta. I might have to go on my server and have a watch and see if anyone's actually doing that because... You know, what's the point in buying boats if you can bodyboard over?
That's true. Yeah.
I feel like it was a hell of an update.
The cars, let's get back on the cars for a second. The cars, I feel, need to be easily accessible to the point of, like, horses. You know, we spoke about this, like, horses were so great because you could just come across one, jump on it, and go. You know, with cars, it's like, oh, you have to build the parts. You have to do this. You have to do that. There's so many components.
People just want to get around.
Yeah, people just want to move around. Like, how often do you see people, like, back in a fucking long-ass limousine into their compound, fucking, you know, getting their 30 fucking clan raid members built into the back of it and start taking off down the road because you can't go anywhere. Most clans build on rivers, you know, lakes and shit. They're not getting out. Like, the only way of getting in and out of that is through heli because it's so much faster. So cars...
And I'm almost thinking, like, people aren't even using the cars anyways because, like, if you're roaming as a squad, why would you want all of your guys in basically a line to just get railed by AK boys? Like, you're not... It's almost like the cars are so hard to, like... They're just not strong. Like, these things aren't strong. They drive poorly. They aren't that maneuverable. They're just... At the moment, they were like... It feels like they've made cars, but they've just chucked them into their current condition instead of actually refining them to be like, you know what? These are really good. Because most people won't go back to cars. Like, it's almost like saying, like, you know, whenever you make like an introduction with someone, the first like couple of seconds is like your impression. The impression cars made was so bad that I feel like people aren't even bothered, even if they update them.
Yeah.
I feel like people won't be bothered.
Yeah, I feel
we were waiting so long.
I think what they should have done is just like kind of made them out like a helicopter. You know, with the helicopter, they're so much more easily accessible. You don't need parts for them. You don't need, you don't need to find like fins or anything for it. You literally put low grade and take off. You know, it's easily accessible. Yeah, horses jump straight in it, piss off. Like easily accessible. They're the most commonly used things. Cars, which are like in between. Oh, go find 4 fucking wheels, a couple of windscreens, an attachment on the back, some low grade. While you're at it, grab some fucking, like, you know, an engine part. It's like, what the hell's going on?
You're so right on the helicopters part. Like, helicopters, when they came in, everyone used them because it was literally low grade and go, you know? And that's how cars need to be. Cars are too, everything's, like, becoming too complex. Like, And I know they're trying to be like, oh, this is big brain stuff. This would be like for people who want to learn stuff. But I'm like, who is? Like 1%, probably less than 1%, are like running the admin servers. Like we had to literally, it's a no BP server and a free X. This is bearing in mind, you know, people play the whole week most of the time. And we were saying like, no one's using the cars. They're all just relics on the side of the road. And we had to go and put tier 3 parts in all of them and lock them in place now. And people just about still use them. Like, and they're only trying to get to a new location. Like, we literally make it so it's like, go farm a little fuel barrel, get a bazillion fuel grade, and then chuck it in the back and go. You know? And that's literally what it should have been. And then if they wanted to make them better, they can allow that. But I don't understand why that whole, like, why that needs to be so complex.
I think quad bikes would have been fun. Quad bikes would have been fun.
Yeah. It would have been more. It would have been more relatable as well. I don't understand why we're driving fucking Ford Transits and Volvos around in Rust. Where's the post-apocalyptic quaddies? Yeah. You know, where are these good-looking vehicles that look like they go over rough terrain? Because most of these have been lowered. Like the suspension doesn't exist in most of these vehicles, anyways. I don't, you know, they should have gone for some design that was like quad bikey, like all-terrain vehicle, not the Transit. I don't get that. You know,
I think the direction that Russ is heading with transport. I think the idea of it becoming more of a role-playing situation is what they're trying to aim down with the pool parties, like the updates, the car updates, like all these updates. I don't think these are updates made for the PvP chads. Like these aren't made for like hardcore players. I feel like the car is like if you really want to role play and have a vehicle, then you're most likely going to look out and go find the parts, right? Yeah. Then it's still a challenge just to have fun with a car. You know, that's still a challenge to have to go find shit. I still think it needs to be easily accessible. I don't think you need to have armored long fucking limousines. I think that's just dumb. Like I think the sedan that they had, the fucking little 5-person sedan that they had, like I said, like the first tester was fucking fine. I think whack one of them on the side of the road.
That was great.
And it was
actually really good. Yeah. That one you can spawn in, needs no low grade or anything. I mean, chuck low grade in them. I think they should always have, like, they should always need fuel. But like, that just worked because every time anyone had it, they're like, yes, this is great. Can't wait for cars. And then when cars came out, they were just kind of like, this is hard work. You know, and I feel like people don't want that hard work. People just want to jump on and go. The game's long enough. It's hard enough. You know, it doesn't need
a repair shop. I mean, you built a repair shop as a video, but I mean that was more just because you wanted to have fun with it, right?
I think that was the first and last time cars were used.
Yeah. In hindsight, properly.
We just showed that you could have fun with it, but it was hard. It's a hard thing to see because we've been waiting on vehicles like for a long ass time. We've got them, and no one cares. They've gone. Within about a month, gone. Yeah.
It's like elevators coming in now. What are your thoughts on elevators coming in? I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah. I hate it. This is the reason I hate the elevator idea, and I hate the person who puts the idea of elevators in. People build bases specifically to not get raided. Why would you want an elevator that opens up 2 doors to locations available for a rocket? You know, I don't understand why a big clan would go, you know what, we're going to make an elevator. And then no one in a small clan's making elevators, they can't afford it. Yeah, you know, it's quite expensive.
You're living in 1 by 1. You know, most people aren't living in fucking, 6 by 6 compounds. Like
most people are making like triangle drop downs, bunkers. People are making their bases so strong that it's almost elevators are for new players who don't know what they're doing.
I feel like it would be, if you're going to build a compound that big with an elevator, we're going back to the role-playing scene again. It's more of a role-playing thing, elevators and all that kind of stuff. Going back to the majority of population who play this game on a serious level, like you said, you're not going to build it in a compound. You're not going to put it into a base. To go from, like, let's say floor 1 to floor 2, you're not going to sit there, walk inside an elevator, press a button, wait for it to fucking close its doors, go up to floor 1, then open up again just so you can get out. Like, you imagine being mid-rated, and you got this fucking elevator, and you got to go to the, 3rd or 4th floor, and let's say you press the wrong button, and you fucking go to the roof, and old mate's there with a rocket launcher, just blows you up, jumps in an elevator, and it goes back down to floor 1, straight down to your TC. Bro, that'd be the worst thing ever.
I don't know if you can access it without building thing anyways, but I still think at the same time it's too fucking, it's dumb. It's so dumb. And like the idea of like making that in the game just doesn't make any sense to me. The only thing I would think that'd be quite good is if they made a mini this would be it, a mini elevator you could put little boxes in and you can transport them up and down levels. But they would go through the floor that you can't go down it.
Wait, what?
So imagine you could get from the floor beneath to the floor above, almost like a Dropbox kind of style mover. You can put items in a box and it'll go up.
You want a ceiling Dropbox? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Rather than a wall Dropbox that we already have. You want a ceiling. We got.
I said elevators.
Yeah.
Yeet the elevators. Leave them in launch site. They're buggy there anyways. Leave them there. They've not even been refined since the first ones came out.
We finally got the fucking triangle ladder hatches, which is fucking awesome.
That's amazing. Love it.
Bro, I still think they need to make an armored ladder hatch. I've been saying this for fucking ages.
I think it needs to be stronger.
Yeah, but I think the only thing that could be armored ladder hatch would have to be like a full square one. You can only have I don't think you should be able to make armored triangle ones. That's just fucking probably too OP. But I mean, if you were to make a triangle ladder hatch, I reckon it could be the full square. And I think that would be really fucking cool to have like an armored ladder hatch. Because people put like, mainly in compounds, you put it like you're putting armored double doors and then you literally got armored double door to like practically, you know, a ladder hatch down into another armored double door. Like to be able to get that fully secured armored level, you know, it'd be cool to have it.
But this is what I was saying to Flaps the other day. What if they were to make it so bases were more expensive to build? You know, it's currently about 200 metal frags to make a metal wall. I almost think that might be too low. Like, I think this is like something where everyone's going to be divided anyways, and this is probably down to Rust being such an all over the place game. But everyone's bases are metalled out, you know? Like, high qual is actually, I feel like high qual is at a good standard because not everyone can high qual their base, you know? Yeah. But metal frags and stuff, like, you're literally like, you get to stone super quick. Like, stone is super easy to get to. You know, I don't know why I would like it to think that they could possibly make it harder to get to those stages. You know, to fully stone your house shouldn't take you 10 or 20 minutes, you know, of farming. It should be like
I believe that. It should be more of a long-term thing. That means that, like, people won't get to end game so quick. People won't be raiding. I mean, early game raiding might be more accessible. Because people aren't like, I don't have fucking satchels yet. I need to wait till I get satchels before I can start blowing through people's doors. And at least that way you might even have the idea to blow through someone's wall because most bases will still be stone.
Yeah. I think early game raiding is so like is missed completely. Back in the day, like in the golden ages of like Rust, not Legacy because that looks fucking shit. You can't tell me otherwise. Legacy looks like dog, and I always remember seeing it the first time being like, this game looks amazing, but the graphics are dog. So, back in the day, you could bow raid people, you could spear raid people, you could use a torch, light it on fire, and it would take 3 health off a wood foundation each smack. You know, we used to make torches and raid people's bases. But like the thing was like back in the day, everyone was like, people were bow raiding my doors down and going through my bases, which was one of the scariest moments. But now that I think about it, I would give so much to be able to have that moment again. Because that was why I loved Rust. Rust was so fucking terrifying. And nowadays it isn't. You've got safe zones. You've got, like, everything's so much easier to, like, save up. Like, you can't raid anyone early unless you got Eokas. And you can only... And, like, that takes ages anyways. Like, the whole bow raiding and silent raiding used to be so, so good and make everything so, so scary. But the game isn't scary anymore. I don't know whether that's because I got 4,500 hours, but the game isn't terrifying as it used to be. I used to have nightmares. You know, I still remember one of the most terrifying moments of my Rust like career. It's a video as well where I was being chased by 2 spear dudes on a modded server, and I was fucking freaking, bro. Like in my head, I was like, this dude's gonna take all of my hemp. You know, I don't know. I was like, I'm gonna die here. But like the game used to be so scary. It used to be so tough and hard to play, and that was the fun of it. Was like it was the fear factor. There's no fear now in the game. I'm just scared of the fucking bears when they start running. That freaks me out.
I do believe that it shouldn't be so accessible to make metal. I feel like metal doors could be cheap, but I feel like metal walls and upgrading the actual foundations of your base probably need a slight upgrade. Like I feel like you need a little bit more. Obviously people will probably disagree and whatever. It's easy to get to late game, but people complaining, like a lot of people complaining that late game's too easy and accessible now. You know,
I think people
within like 3 days, I've got a full metal compound and we've raided half the server and it's too easy. Like,
but I almost feel like that's fine. Like, you know, you're putting in the effort and you get that. People have like good play styles. Like the people who tend to get to end game anyways. I don't tend to get to end game because like I don't really give a fuck about it. But like most people, if they're getting to end game, are usually pretty good at the game anyway. So they need to stop thinking about like how it's too easy to get there. It's like, but that should be accessible to most people. If you can get there in 3 days, then fine. You know, most people get there in a day. But it's just hard to see like people just playing the game and just not being able to do things. You know?
Yeah.
That's like the biggest thing. Like, so these are the things that we had a little list earlier. Where's this list gone to? The things that have pissed me off recently.
Here we go. Here we go. Bring out the giant scroll. It hits the fucking ground and rolls halfway down the road.
Pissed me off with Rust. So let's talk about it. All right, I won't go too much into it. So actually, okay. So this goes fully into the overcomplication of stuff. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like this started with components, and I feel like a lot of people would agree that the blueprint system that worked when it was 2015, which was basically farm blueprint pages, create pages, hopefully it gives you something.
Yep.
That was great. That worked out well. Then they brought in components and stuff, and that made shit harder, but then you're kind of like, oh, okay, we'll give it a go. And nowadays it's overcomplicated to the point where no one can farm because no one understands genetics. Whoever made the farming genetics thing just blows my mind because that's like... Oh,
so we're going on to the farming update now. That was probably one of the biggest things that threw us off. So I've tried to do a farming update. Like, I tried to do a trap-based on a farm, like a farm, and actually try and grow crops on the fucking farm. I didn't realize how hard it is to grow a fucking hemp seed. Like,
it's dumb.
I can build an entire electricity base, but I can't fucking grow a seed into a sprout in the fucking game. I don't get it.
It's so dumb because you can farm on the game and you can do it well. But the whole genetics and stuff blows my mind to the point where I'm kind of like, why did you guys even bother thinking about this? Because no one cares. I had to watch a tutorial the other day and stopped because a man said to me about mathematics in genetics. And I was like, why? It's blows my mind that they would create something that has so much potential that everyone can use, but people can't because they're looking at it going, what am I doing? It should just literally be add fertilizer, add water, add light, boom. Within about a few hours, you got some cloth, which gives you maybe 5 times the amount you would normally get on the outside. Yeah, but the genetics and stuff, like...
Yeah, they definitely got to simplify the shit out of that. Because, like, what is it? X and...
I think there's, like, X... I don't know what X means, but a red X was better than a green Y. Like, it's got X, W,
it should be
Y,
a big, bold
G.
Y. Why in the first place are we even fucking doing this?
Yeah, this is what I would love, if they made this stuff and overcomplicated it, but they released a tutorial, and I'm going to say this is lazy development here right now. They're not releasing tutorials, and I'm almost thinking they're kind of saying, you know what, the community's going to make a video on it. And I'm like, why? Like, why would you do that? Like, the best thing they've released recently that's overcomplicated, that isn't overcomplicated because they did it right, was the mixing table.
Yes.
That was bang on. And everyone uses the mixing table.
Simple. It's fucking...
There's a recipe.
There's a recipe. It's simple as fuck. And you can make teas, which I think is cool. Personally, I don't like the fact that you can get a fucking mining tea and a wood chopping tea that, like,
I think they're increases... a bit weird, but... Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like the fact that you can farm faster by drinking a tea. It's almost like you're just taking like a shot of speed and just decide to go fucking chop wood for 30 minutes. Like, you know, work it off. Like, I don't understand. Just, just fucking power this fucking tree down.
Become a hacker, Steve.
Get fucking banned off the server for speed hacking. Fuck.
they should do a speed one, and there'll be like some naked just powering through the fucking woods, just like hammering down trees.
Could you imagine if they brought out a thing like if you were naked, you ran faster?
Oh, I feel like that would be a game killer.
So you imagine like. full gear guys are coming, and you just got this fucking swarm of nakeds, just full blown sprinting in nothing but a fucking underwear and a rock, just running like, Usain Bolt down the beach. Just later, boys.
That'd be so. I feel like if they did something like that, they'd kill the game because they've been asking for so much stuff recently. Like,
yeah,
I feel like everyone in Rust is at so many different points of where they like the game that the game is just like all over the shop, anyways. Now, like for me, I always want the game to be primitive and hard, But when I see things coming into the game, just like elevators and stuff, I'm like, I feel like you're out of touch with where Rust used to be,
Yeah, that is
I
true.
wonder if you took like 2015 Oblivion and like took him to Rust now and was kind of like, hey, this is Rust, do you want to play it? And I'd be kind of like, yes or no,
The
I
game's
wonder how that would be.
The game is good, the quality is good, the components are shit.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah,
overcomplicated things. What kind of things would come into it? So we got, I would say, farming, cars.
Yeah.
Where's the other little list we've got here? Farming,
Things.
cars. Unnecessarily overcomplicated is the kayaks. The A and D buttons, I
Yeah.
don't understand. Just keep it as W. Just go forwards and backwards. What?
Just keep it like a boat. And I don't
just keep it
understand
like a
why,
boat.
this is what I could understand. Like, what's with the paddle being separate?
I
not have
understand the
built-in-
idea, like,
Why
yeah,
not just have built-in
Rowboat.
fucking just
comes
What?
with it.
What?
Comes with the kayak. Like,
Or even
not many.
get a giant fucking flamingo that you sit on a fucking pedal, and it fucking pumps down the what. Make
I
something
would take
like
that update. I would take that update right now. Give me the swan boat. Give me the fucking swan boat. Then
Give
go
me the
back.
fucking swan boat update, mate. Seriously.
Could you imagine some fucker peddling a swan boat with a gun? Like a bow and arrow trying to clock some dude? I mean, the best.
New Oblivion video, mate.
But
New
that would
event
be it.
video coming out.
The kayak's already dead content because no one can be bothered. You can't tell me that isn't already like dead content. The cars are dead content. The elevator's already dead before they even came out. The kayak is dead already. Like, I'm not seeing anyone using that. But the overcomplication just has to stop. They need to come back and just be like, hey guys, like, you want to play a game, play the game. Because I think like they have so much fear in that people are kind of like, oh, the game's too easy and stuff. But like, what's wrong with that in a way? What's wrong with it being that easy? Because they make it hard in other aspects anyways. Like, oh, you want the AK, it's hard to learn. Like, there's so many things about this game which just don't add up. It's just kind of like, bring it back a bit. Like, understand that the people playing your game want to play every aspect. Don't want to spend and get bloody farming degrees on YouTube.
Do you think do you think they should get rid of the AK spray pen? But make it easier? Or do you think it's going to just throw the game out?
I think it'd be easier. Purely because people who jump on the game, like me, or people who play casually, don't want to sit in an aim training arena. And that's not out of us like being... That's not of us being like, oh, we're lazy to do it. The only time I ever sit in an aim training arena is in games that matter, like CSGO. I hardly ever get to an AK in Rust because I can't be bothered
kind
with
of
it.
side.
Yeah, like if there's a competitive side of the game, then have it in there, But there's no competition in the game. It's like you can basically do whatever, but to like make it so there's a spray and stuff, it's almost just saying like there's a competition kind of like to be good at this game.
Yeah, speaking of competitive Rust, I think H-June, like the Trust and Rust 20 was probably one of the greatest things I think happened to Rust. It's good fun, and it brings out a real competitive side to Rust, which I really love, like an esports side to Rust.
Yeah.
And it raises a lot of money. It's a really good event. I recently was in it. I was a part of it. I was with Pookie and a bunch of the other girls, and it was like Libcat and stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And
It looked good.
yeah, and it was like it was like a constant fear of being raided. Like you had a certain amount of time to gather resources, you had a certain amount of time to build, then you had like a grace period where you could roam and kill people while you're looking for resources, but you couldn't raid yet. And then you had this like all-out war at a certain point where like anything goes. And it is just like, if you didn't have your base ready in time, if you didn't have like the components for guns in time, like I think the whole time we were building and farming, and like it went so quick, and it went into like, we went into like the full-blown like raid mode, and we hadn't even built the roof yet. Like it was like, fuck, like it's so intense. And it's like, from my perspective, from not being like a competitive gamer in Rust, it was really nice to like be a part of it, but it was like way too sweaty for me. But I could see Rust like bringing out the real big boys, which I really enjoyed watching Posty and all those guys. Like that's their element. Yeah, that's their fucking element. I don't want to have to go to Rust and play normally and have to go up against that all the fucking time of people who just play that game. Like, I would love to make the like AK sprays easier, and I feel like having Rust a competitive mindset and the aim trade is definitely going to be worth it. If you were to do stuff like Trust and Rust events more frequently, make it into more of an esports thing, then yeah, of course, it'd be awesome to have a spray, but we don't have that. You know, H-Tunes is going out of his way to try and create something like that, but Rust itself isn't going down the path of that. So I don't think it should have I don't think it should have the spray to be as hard as it is.
Well, this is the thing. Like, what is Rust? Is it a survival game or a PvP game? Like, I saw a thing the other day where it's like Rust is a survival game with PvP elements, or like Rust is a PvP game with survival elements. Like, for them to put like an actual like AK recoil spray in, I'm thinking they're saying it's a PvP game with survival elements, because they're almost saying like, yeah, you need these guns, then go play. Instead of being like, yeah, the game is survival. And in like, I feel like that should be the whole like basis. They should go, yeah, this game's all about survival, not about how good you are with guns. Like, everyone should be able to be good with the high-end guns, you know? I feel like an AK should just be to the point where you're kind of like, yeah, if you get an AK, it's a solid gun, but everyone's so split on the AK because it's so like, it divides everyone. The people who play intensely and go for gunplay, they're obviously going to enjoy like an AK recoil spray because they're kind of like, oh yeah, like I've earned this. Whereas like I feel like if the game was more survival, people wouldn't focus on that. Yeah. You know?
Like I love like the medium level guns. The Tommy, bro. Yeah. Tommy's fun.
Tommy,
dude.
SAR. The SAR is perfect.
I don't like the SAR.
Is perfect.
Personally, I don't like the SAR.
Do you not?
No, I like machine guns, man. Either the Tommy or the MP5.
Can you not shoot anyone over like 40 yards?
Look, long range. If I'm shooting someone 80 yards, mate, I'm using a bolty. Like, let's be honest. Why would I need to start firing that far away? I miss one shot from that far. That's it. They know where I am. I'm dead.
80 yards is Revo territory. I'm slapping fools at that.
What? Have you not passed primitive for that long? For 4,000 hours at primitive is like...
You're telling me you're using a bolt action at 4 cricket wickets away?
You're like the advanced version of Anardo. That's what you are.
The Revo is banging. I was on stream yesterday and I slotted this person with 5 bullets. The last one was in the head as he was falling. Like, I didn't even let him see the wounded screen. Did not deserve that.
It goes like Anardo, like primitive. Then it goes the Oblivion with the Revy. Then it goes straight to Posty with the AK-47. Like there's
going back. Going back to your thing about Trust and Rust, yeah, I bet that was the most fun a lot of people have had in a long time.
It was awesome. Rust. It was really good. I was running the street, like when you're gathering and stuff, like that's like where there's no fighting, yeah? And you're running the street collecting stuff, and you see people walking up. You're not afraid, like, because you know they can't hurt you. So it creates so much interaction. I love the first like 30 minutes, I think it was, like first 25 minutes was like the best fun I had in Rust in fucking ages. It was like you ran into heaps of people, had a chat, had a laugh. People were driving cars around, fucking around. You had like me, Coconut B, Ray C, a whole bunch of us in cars, Becca something and stuff. Like we were all in like a car together, just driving around, running people over, getting out, shooting each other and shit. And it was just it was funny. It was just an awesome laugh. And like I'd run into Coconut B, I ran into Mimeo on the road. Like it was. I
love Coconut B, man. Coconut B is an absolute don. I love that.
Dude. He has such an act for streaming, man. I love watching his streams.
He's got to be one of the best. Like I won't split anyone down the middle, but Coconut B, if I need a go-to, he's so good, man.
I think it's because his content is very mature. You know, it's not.
I think it's because he's so good at the game that he can make his content work effectively. Like when it comes to gunplay, he'll nail it. When it comes to roleplay, he'll nail it. You know,
he's like an all-round like good. It's like for anyone watching Rust, whether you're in it for the roleplay, in it for the laughs, in it for the gunplay, like he's got it all. You know, I feel like Coconut B has he does a lot of community events as well, which I think is cool. And he gets his community involved with a lot of the stuff he does, which I think is what makes Coconut B as a whole is fucking awesome. So it was pretty good for my first interaction with Coconut B in a video game, because obviously I'm Australian, so Coconut B and I don't exactly come across each other on servers because we play like 15 modded time servers, and we don't play 15 modded time servers, but and he plays vanilla. But it was just fun to like come across those kind of guys, and like obviously you'd never see them before, and you probably won't see them again unless it's another tournament. And it was just a lot of fun to come across those guys, run down the street, having a laugh. It was good.
Going back to this kind of like idea now then. So obviously the big thing that happened this week and last week was the content creator server.
The server that crashed.
that
Anado leaked IP. That's what it was. Anado leaked the IP, bro. We can't trust him, mate.
I feel so bad for everyone who is involved with it because I love H-Sheen. He's a great guy. You know, he does really good things. But when I saw this coming about, I did actively to start off with not want to go. And then I did want to go and I didn't want to go. And there was like lots of reasons for this. Like one of the reasons was like I felt like everyone getting involved in this is gonna be potentially a disaster. And I'm gonna say from an outside perspective looking in, like this might be different for content creators, but from what I've seen, I feel like they're all in the same boat. I felt like this went poorly, you know. I felt like the idea was great. The idea of having a separate so for those who don't know, okay, this is probably the best thing for it, is H-June created this event server with Ryan, who runs my servers, and basically it was for people who were like content creators. And I feel like that was the downfall because a lot of content creators were invited. I think it was like over 200 plus to all play on the server for 1 week, just to play it, you know, stream it, make videos on it, blah, blah, blah. But by having it as only content creators, I felt like everyone was kind of confused in a way as to what they need to be doing, you know, like most people who don't want stream snipers, like as much as that server's like good for it, I felt like they were being forced into making content. It almost felt like GTA roleplay met Rust to the point where you were kind of like, if someone said hey to you, you had to like interact with them on a content creator level where you had to be funny, trying back and forwards with each other instead of smoking the dude.
Yeah, so you kind of felt like you kind of felt in a way like hesitant to how you could react on the server, right? A lot of people, you know, like we were saying before, love community stuff, love role playing and stuff, and obviously there's people out there that are fucking chads, you know. And I think one of the biggest problems that they had was they mixed a lot of these attributes of players into one server, right? So you had like your Spoon Kids and you know Lady Jennifer and Anado, all that shit, you know, Banana Duck, you know, all having fun, you know, chilling out, relaxing, you know, having a pool party and shit. It was good. It was funny to watch. You know, it was funny to watch, and people were watching that content for that reason. And then you had the sour taste in your mouth, which was the chads. Because obviously people are like, I want to have fun. I want to see creators interact with each other. Because I guess in the scheme of it, that everyone thought it would be like content creator interaction, like it was for, let's say, the first 25 minutes of the event of Trust and Rust. But it's not like that because there is no fucking safe zone. You get railed from the start.
I'm going to defend the chads on this one, okay? Because I feel like the chads were the ones who were abused on this. This is the problem. The biggest issue with this whole thing... Yeah, you sit back, by the way. I see that. The whole
role players, mate. Role players.
The whole problem with this is that it was called a content creator server. It should never have been a content creator server like called that. It should have been a whitelisted Rust server. And then... no one would be under the impression they have to make content because then they're just being told, hey, this server's available for streamers who want to go on there to stream without the fear of being stream sniped, instead of being like, hey, content creators should be on here. Because people like Posty don't give a fuck if you want to run a garage. He'll nail you. You don't give a shit. He'll lean into his mic. He'll lean into his monitor. And I swear Posty's monitor is on the floor. Because motherfuckers like this. I don't have a clue what level of Chad you need to get to where you're at a 45-degree angle.
He's literally like virtually teabagging you, but VR like looking down on you.
I see him like this, and I can't figure out where the fuck his monitor is. It's not here. He's not looking like this, bro. It's down, straight on the floor.
Much love to Posty, by the way.
Yeah, I love the dude. I think he's great at what he does, but holy fuck, I don't know where his monitor is. I want to figure that out. But I'm going to the Chads because the Chads were only going to be Chads. They didn't want to roleplay. They wanted to go on a server where essentially they were going to compete against everyone else. Yeah. And then you've got the role players who wanted to go on the server to have fun, you know. Yeah. And I think both of them have should be able to do what they want to do, but it's never going to work.
No.
Like,
because there was a lot of instances where people Yeah, there was an instance where like people were having like a pool party and stuff, and all of a sudden like a big clown would roll up over the top and just rail everyone in the pool and just take everything and fuck off. Like, what do you really expect was going to happen?
I think the big thing that I saw when I watched it for a short period of time, I'm not going to call out anyone, by the way. I'm just going to say the people who are involved. But I saw like Anado was involved, Spoon Kids, Diana TV and stuff. I think it was like Diana TV went in there and killed a load of people, which I am fully okay with. Kill anyone, you're playing Rust, you know that's how it is. But the other guys in there were looking at roleplay. And I think that was the difficulty with the server, was that people were in there being like, I'm going to munt people and just destroy them. And if we get into interactions, then that will happen. You know, if someone's in the base and they're being raided by Coconut Bee or by Posty or something, then there'll be times for interactions if they want that, you know. Yeah. But genuinely running around, people are kind of like, hey, I want that barrel, you know, or I want that scrap. I feel like everyone was kind of forced into the idea that they might have to interact, and there are people who just don't want to, which is totally fine because that's how they do their content. You know?
I think that's where a lot of the sourness came from. Was there was people there was a group that was rolling 8-man deep, like they weren't fucking around. They wanted. I think they wanted to feel like they could, in a way. And I'm going to defend the role players here. I don't think if you're going to go into a content creator server that you need to roll 8-man deep. I think that's fucking overkill. I think it would have been better if it had been like a trio, or if you guys are like teaming up, it's more in the sense of a role-playing situation. Like you're at a pool party, you're not killing anyone, you're having some fun, whatever, you know? But obviously, if a trio comes over the hill and decides to kill everyone, that's cool. It's 3-man and whatever, right? But I feel like if you're rolling 8-man deep, like I think that was what a lot of the people were talking about. Like we've seen a lot of tweets on this. Got a few tweets here, but like it was a lot of. Let me just see if I can find one where people were rolling 8-man deep. I think there was one for like Sir Winter. This is probably one of the funnier ones that we'll go into this one, right? So this is Sir Winter's take, and I completely agree with Sir Winter on this. You know,
I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay, I agree with this. Right, as much as, and I'm not going to blur any of this out. I think it's going to be pretty funny, right? And I don't mean this in a bad way to read this out for Sir Winter. Like I think like what he's saying is 100% true. It was a decent idea, is what he says. I was really excited for it, but there were just things about it that were too slow for me. Also, some Mongoloid who has beef with me decided to be a cocksucker to my fiance on there while talking down to other creators as he ran an 8-man Zerg.
Just no need. There's just no need for it, is it? You know.
Yeah. I mean, feel like there's a level of Chad, and then there's a level of just being a dick, you know?
Yeah. And I feel like if you are running 8-man deep, you don't need to be on that server. Like you said that just then. Like, to me, it's for like people who run like solo, duo, trio. You know, people who are just kind of like, we want to get going, we don't want to get rolled over. But there's no need for it. Like personal attacks and shit is just not needed. Yeah. You know? And I like, you know, you're an 8-man. You know you're going to go through people because that's what you do on the daily. Yeah. Like, I just don't understand why you'd want to come to that server apart from to just be an absolute twat. I don't know who the 8 men were, so I'm not going to be able to point anything at anyone, so it's not a personal dig, but I think you're a bit of a bellend. You know? I think if you're going onto a server like that, that's specifically like kind of aimed at people trying to just like play without the difficulties.
I just think, I think it was a great idea for H2, but I think people wanted the thrill, in my eyes, is what I see it as. People wanted the thrill of like, I wiped out Wellen. I wiped out Coconut Bee. I wiped out Sir Winter. I wiped out fucking Spoon Kids pool party with Anado and shit. And it's more of a
easy,
for them,
easy that one. Fuck. Easy wipe.
Yeah, just rolling up on Anado, just fucking water gun in hand, fucking banana duck with a spear, like
spear,
all in fucking board shorts and you know flippers and shit. But I mean, like,
I'd clap him.
It would be funny. Like, it'd be cool to see. You know, if you see that, obviously no one's gonna fight you. Like, if they're in flippers fucking squirting water guns at each other, like, you're not gonna fucking, you know, they're not gonna turn around and just automatically just like throw off this fucking cape and just be covered in like heavy metal armor, just shotgun at the ready. Just like, it's not gonna happen. You know, and I think a lot of people needed to realize that and just have like, if you're gonna play properly. 3-man, 4-man, max probably. Yeah. And I think H-June is going to really... He put out a tweet about it. So let's go over H-June's tweet about it, because we spoke a little bit about it now. So H-June said he's kind of disappointed with some of the streamers, took the content server so seriously as they did, which is what we're talking about, the 8-man Zerg. They just fucking took it and ran with it just to be dicks, right? But it was super fun for me to interact with people. I met. It didn't go as well as I hoped, but I tried, and I will try to balance the teams better next time and make stricter rules, which I think 4-man probably is max. Like, let's be real here. If you want to interact with other content creators, just I feel like you should be able to interact on a setting where it's like a no kill zone kind of thing, right? If you're going there to hang out or whatever, it's like a no kill zone. You take no weapons or whatever. But if you're going to roam with guns and whatever, and you start killing people, then obviously it's a different take, you know? So yeah, you got to try and find the balance between the two.
Yeah, I feel like there's probably some kind of GTA roleplay aspect that needs to come into it. I almost feel like if you're going on that server, you almost have to like kind of go, well, I'm going to play the server, but I'm going to play it to the style that's going to, you know, meet everyone's kind of desires. If I'm raiding someone, maybe I'll have a chat, you know, and see how that's going. Because, I mean, if you're raiding someone that's quite big, you're more than likely going to know them. You know, you're going to get people like Posty, Trousy, and other people will cross over each other, you know. But I almost feel like the server is going to be... I reckon it can be a success, and I feel like there's a potential there with it. But I almost feel like they need to take away the whole aspect and the whole, like, labeling of content creator server. I feel like they just need whitelisted, trusted server, you know. Yeah. And they could even have normal players on there. They could even say to people like, hey, you've got some good servers. Do you mind if, you know, do you want to see if some players want to come over? You know, because some people might be good for it. Because I know there are people who play on my servers who'd be great on servers like that. Yeah. And it'd be quite fun because then you're kind of like, hey, like these people can play. But I feel like the longevity of this server will be hard to maintain purely because content creators aren't going to use the go-to server. I server jump all the time because I'm looking for new interactions. And I feel like that server will almost be so difficult to keep it that it's almost not even worth bothering. Like often. I feel like it needs to be something super infrequent, but it's going to be hard. I feel like this is a hard task to make this work.
I feel like it was very like forcefully put upon people, like go out and find interactions, go out and do this. Like that's the whole point of the server was interactions. But I think if you were to play Rust normally on the server and go to Bandit Camp and you run into Coconut Bee, go run into Wellen while you know, throwing a few scraps on the fucking wheel. You know what I mean? Like have a bit of fun. You ask Wellen, hey Wellen, what do you reckon? 6, 3, and it gets it right. It'd be cool. It'd be cool interaction if it got it right, or if you rolled a 20. It'd be funny between both interactions, and that's it. You know, people were expecting these long interactions with like their favorite creators and go there and whatever, and it's like it's not the case. You know, I think it should have been more dumbed down.
I think it was more of a community thing. Like they wanted to be like, hey, you can go and watch your favorite creators interact with each other. You know, you can go and see Jordan Rants and other people like messing around and stuff. Something you're not going to see because that doesn't happen often. You know, like. Content creation on Rust at the moment, I feel it's hard. And I feel like this server almost kind of highlights that. Because so many people are getting involved with it that, I don't want to use the word, but I almost think it's embarrassing in a way that how many people want to be involved with it. Because I almost feel like nothing's happening in Rust. You know? Like, every time someone thinks up a new idea, everyone's doing it. You know, every time an event comes up, everyone's doing it. I almost feel like there should be times where people can just go, you know what? I don't want to do this. You know, I want to go do something else. You know, there's
what are your views on scripting content?
I'm fully for it. People won't like it. I'm okay with people like Rust Academy. I'm totally okay with people like Rust Academy because, and you listen to me here, right? Those people are making content that people want to watch. At the end of the day, we're entertainers. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We are entertainers. We do voiceovers. We do certain aspects of the video. If like everyone essentially scripts their videos, think about it, yeah? Whenever I make a trap bass, I don't include certain people who can make that video bad. Yeah? Yeah. I've had racist people in there. I've had bad interactions in there. I don't put those elements in there because I want the video to be a certain style. But, you know, I understand why people don't like them, but at the same time, you've got to think that as content creators, we want to entertain people and show people what it's about. People didn't get shitty at Frankie on PC for scripting because he did it well. People don't like, you know, people did get shitty at Frost because he did it well, you know. People get shitty at Frost because he raises the bar. And I feel like you're almost saying, hey, like, these people are raising the bar, let them do that, you know. And then experienced people who watch these videos anyways, people who watch Rust Academy, they'll suddenly start to go, hey, like, you know, maybe this content isn't actually that good, but I found someone else through him. You know, if those people are there, like, there are people I hate in the community, you know, but if they're bringing in new people, they're coming to watch my stuff as well, or they're going to play the game and they're going to make the game healthier, you know. So I feel like the only thing I don't accept is hacking. I don't accept that at all because that's such a bad effect. Yeah, that Bellend, whoever he's gone nowadays, is crown army strong.
Oh fuck! What a grog that was. I think it's great to have different categories of Rust, right? We have trap bases, we have scripted content, we have movies, we have admin stuff, we have the chads, we have the PvP, and I think all these, like, we have the role-playing shit, and I think all these aspects of Rust is what really creates Rust in, like, you might, you know, find someone who just likes role-playing games, likes playing Ark, doesn't like playing PvP, but likes, you know, want to come to Rust and see, like, what the role-playing side of Rust is. So look at role-playing videos, and then they'll slowly, like, watch more and more role-playing videos, it'll get recommended to someone else, and get different videos come up, and then they're watching different people's content. I think it's going to be good for everyone, you know, especially when Rust comes to console and stuff like that. I think it's going to be good all around. One of the biggest things, I think, Frost took it pretty well when he was aired out for scripted content. But
I love the way Frost dealt with it.
I'm going to show this video that he recently brought out, right? It's called Rust Spiraling into Sanity. Now, this video that he produced is by far the best edited video I have ever seen of Rust. And
it's so high quality.
It is so amazing what he has done with Rust. And people who watch this video will be inspired to play Rust off this. And I think this is going to benefit everyone. At first, everyone was saying, you know, scripted content shit. But the content he's making from it and what the positive light that he's bringing to Rust, I think is amazing for everyone. I don't think anyone should fucking doubt him. So let's have a quick view. I
completely agree.
While we chat about it. But I'm going to quickly play it while we chat about this so people can see it. So and we'll talk about it.
So for me, like, with his scripting stuff, like, I think it's great. You know, and the only people, this is the fact, the only people who are getting shitty about people making scripted content is content creators. And that is a pure jealousy aspect. Like, if you're annoyed at another content creator getting lots of views, lots of likes, really good comments because they've made really good videos that are scripted, you've got to raise your game. Or you've got to try and make yours better. Like, for me, if I see someone getting more views than me, I'll kind of go, hey, how can I do this? You know, instead of, like, pulling someone down, because people of, like, Frost's caliber is needed in the community. If he wasn't there, if Wellen wasn't there, the game would have less viewership. Like, like, as much as there's people out there making more views or less views than me, we're all helping each other.
Yeah.
You know, everyone in there. Like, whenever you make content on a video or on a game even, you're helping everyone in the community because you're getting recognition for the community. You're getting recognition for other people's videos. Like, people come to me and they say, oh, I love your videos because I hate seeing all the stories and stuff. And then I imagine other people go to other channels saying, oh, I wish Oblivion would do this instead of his stupid trap bases. You know, but that's what we need. We need that variety. Like, I'm never going to make story videos, but I respect people who do it because, you know,
100%.
They do it well.
One of the,
you know...
Yeah, you're right. One of the comments on our previous video, right, was one of the things that they said was, I brought this up saying that I believe that YouTubers help the game grow. And I felt like without streamers and YouTube content creators, that I felt Rust wouldn't be as successful as it was.
Yeah, I would say that. Because this is the thing, because people will be against that. But the fact is, if we're making videos on it and getting people in the game's going to get more money for more development, for more people to work on it. Without that there, the game will still be successful, but to the standard that it gets with essentially free promotion, it's mental. Like, look at Fall Guys. That thing has blown off because of content creators. Yeah. You know, I don't feel that would have had as much potential if it wasn't for content creators.
I will say this, right? Name one game, and for those who are in the comments who fucking, like, went at me about that comment, name one game that's still very successful that no one makes YouTube videos on and no one streams it.
Bloons Tower Defense 6. Bloons Tower Defense 6. I played that game fucking well.
Age of Empires. They used to, you know, get out of the colors cornflakes, mate, back in the day. That shit is still lit. Yeah, Worms is solid. Earthworm Jim. Earthworm Jim.
Actually, solid what game. Is like a go-to game for console players nowadays? That's like a casual game. You remember like back in the day, you used to play Worms and like shit like that.
Yeah.
What is that game? I don't think there is that game. But every game, I feel like it's a hard thing to say because if we say like, hey, mention a game that's super popular that isn't covered by content creators, it's almost like never going to happen because a super popular game is always going to be covered by content creators.
It's like a twisted question, you know?
Yeah.
It's
difficult.
because it's like, it's actually hard. It's like, well, shit. I would love to see what people say in the comments, but let me know.
I think that the aspect is kind of like, imagine if a game that's massive now didn't have its content creators, where it would have been, you know? Like, would a game like Fortnite be as big without Ninja, without Tim the Tatman or Hamlins or people who like added an aspect to the game that
a personality to the game. I feel like it's a personality to the game. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Like look at a game like DayZ. That game is a struggle. I feel like that game, to be honest, shout out to Anarchy HD because he's fucking nailing this shit right now and I'm fucking proud of him because I used to watch his shit all back in the day.
Oh, really?
But Anarchy HD is banging views on DayZ right now and I'm so fucking happy for the dude because I remember watching him ages ago before I was making Rust content and holy fuck, he's nailing it.
That's a hard game.
Games like DayZ owe it to their content creators that game has some growth and still has potential. Because the content creators love making videos on it, but the game itself is tragic for new players. I die holding cans of baked beans. I cannot fucking do anything on that game.
I found out how to kill yourself with a cloth on that game.
In DayZ?
Yeah, you can actually kill yourself with a cloth.
You know, probably the most viewed videos of DayZ, apart from like Soviet Wombles interactions, is people fucking ending their own lives on it. I've seen.
Bro, when I played the game and I was like, oh, how do I like start over? So I was like, you get a cloth out in your hands and you press a certain button and he like puts it to his face and like chokes himself out. And he literally dies. Like he actually like kills himself by like breathing into this cloth. I was like, what type of morbid game is this?
I feel like that's probably like an aspect that kept the game alive as well. It's like people could do Russian roulette on there. I love that aspect. I love Russian roulette. I mean, obviously I don't play that shit because it's fucking mental. But like, like the Russian roulette thing on there, like the little things like that in a game like that that's so survivally and so cold and stuff is really good. I always think DayZ is a harder game than Rust in terms of survival. I haven't played the game enough. Yeah, but I know there's no safe zones and stuff. Yeah, but holy shit.
It definitely is. And I can see you bring it back with the roulette, bringing back your old main content days back of Hand Simulator. Really must bring back some memories of like, back at your peak.
Back in my absolute prime, you bastard. Right, Hand Simulator never let me down. I managed to keep that game going for a good amount of time.
You would have to be the biggest Hand Simulator player of all time. I still can't believe how many views you got off that fucking game.
I had to. So anyone who, okay, people won't know this, but I had to, because it was my top viewed video, and I was making tons of Rust videos anyways. I had to unlist that shit because it stopped people from going to see it as my top viewed video, and it stopped getting abuse. Like, that video is my highest viewed one, but it gets so much abuse. I'm gonna change the title and everything to something like, I don't know why this video got loads of views. Just because it's a pure meme nowadays. But man, that was the shit. But that was a thing, to be fair. I love that game because it was so casual. Like, I jump on there. It was a very very man-friendly place. I'll say that. There was a lot of manly relationships going on in that game, but it was fun. You know,
what, the old ring, and then the
So this is the video this video never got released. I don't even think I've got the footage for it anymore. So the last video I was going to make on Hand Simulator before my first ever trap base on Rust was this thing called Sports Bar. And in the Sports Bar you could play, I think, darts, you can have a drink, you can play snooker or pool, but everyone in there was a dude with no top on, wearing pink Y-fronts, just walking around, touching each other. And I was kind of like, I don't want to record this anymore. I was like, I'm all for what you guys want to do. But I feel like Sports Bar is just kind of like a big gropey section.
It turns into like a great idea until you boot it up and see what it really is, and then it's like, look, it's not what I thought it was going to be. It was like that was like that Rust survival game that we played, right? We thought, oh, this would be fucking fun. But really, the whole time it was like we ended up grabbing a coconut and bashing some dude's head with it, and then dragging him down the beach. Like it was no survival going on. It was just man versus man brutality.
Whoever developed that game did it so perfectly because it was so shit. It was perfect. Like it was so scuffed. There's hardly any controls that worked. You couldn't adjust the volumes. It was fantastic.
I love those like quick 30-minute games or like an hour game where you can get on, have a laugh, cost you fuck all, and just you know it's gonna be shit. It's like $1 or something. Yeah. You get on, have a bit of fun with it, and that's it. You know. They're like the best games, man. They're like the games that you're like, I'll never play again, but it was fun while it lasted. You know, like they're the type of shit. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We are coming into an hour and 5 minutes of the podcast, so let's bring it down to a close, man. Wrap it up.
Have we? I feel like we've nailed it, all, haven't we?
Yeah, pretty much. That was our list of things we want to talk about. We want to talk about Rust and obviously the content creators, and of course, shout out to Frost with one of the most epic fucking movies of all time of Rust I've ever seen. Aniki HD with the DayZ.
Yeah, that man and the babe. I feel like next time we're looking to get a content creator on. So we were going to get a content creator on today. But as much as they didn't want to come on this week because they're busy, which is totally fine. I also feel like we need to prep for like a content creator. Like we need questions from you guys. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. The Twitter handle is
the DownUnder Show. Am I right? I think it is.
Bro, we're like looking away trying to find this right now. I think it's like at DownUnder Show.
Yeah, I think it is at
at DownUnder Show. And then you'll basically get a big DU and then that'll be us. So we're gonna put on there who's gonna be on the show. We're gonna try and what I think we should do is we'll try and get them a week in advance to like confirm to it. You know, we can say, hey, like you guys, this so and so's coming on, ask them some questions, we're gonna roast them. Yeah. You know, so we'll give that a go. Yeah, as always, this podcast isn't sponsored, so there you go. And this
podcast is rated 5 stars by absolutely fucking nobody. So.
Yeah, no one. I think actually got downvoted on YouTube. So this has been upvoted 67 times and downvoted twice. So fuck yous and thanks for watching, anyways. But
thanks for watching. It is on YouTube and on Spotify. Catch you guys later. Peace.
Have a good one. Laters.